Good morning. The topic for today is facial space infection. So these are the list of learning outcomes. Recognize clinical features typical of infection of dental origin, in terms of anatomical distribution, relationship of pain, swelling, etc. Discuss the clinical pattern of spread of infection, abscess formation and bone infection, and plan appropriate investigation. Predict the likely behavior of an infection. Select cases requiring surgical treatment, including damage, and describe how it could be performed. Select cases requiring antimicrobial chemotherapy and suggest a regime. So before we start, we need to know what the cervical fascia is. So it is composed of fibrous connective tissue, layers that enclose organs, muscles, nerves, vessels, and separate into a series of planes and potential spaces. You got two types of cervical fascia. One is superficial fascia, and the other one is deep cervical fascia. The deep cervical fascia has got a superficial layer, middle layer, and a deep layer. The middle layer has got two divisions, muscular division and visceral division, whereas the deep layer has got prevertebral and alar. A facial space is simply an area of relatively loose connective tissue which naturally forms a padding between and around the various structures in the head and neck, being more dense where it is arranged immediately about organs. So you need to know about two types of spaces. One is anatomical space, which is normal, which contains various structure. An example for an anatomical space is masticatory phase. Potential space, which is identified only when an involvement with the pathology, so which is a retropharyngeal space. So classification of space is based on the relation with the hyoid bone. It has got a simple limited above the hyoid bone, which is pharyngomaxillary, submandibular, parotid, masseter, peritonsillar, temporal, submental and sublingual, whereas the spaces limited to the hyoid bone will be antevisceral space. The spaces involving the entire length of the neck will be retropharyngeal space, dental space, prevertebral space, visceral vascular space. These are the list of spaces that are involved in odontogenic infection. Canine, buccal, infratemporal, primary mandibular space, submental, buccal, submandibular, sublingual spaces. Secondary facial space are mesenteric, pterygomandibular, superficial and deep temporal, laryngeal face, retropharyngeal face, and prevertebral face. So the primary spaces of the maxillary space like canine, buccal, and infratemporal gets the infection directly from the infection from the periapical region of the tooth, whereas secondary follows after the infection from the primary. Spaces above the hyoid bone, it's going to be lateral pharyngeal space. So the boundaries of lateral pharyngeal space are anteriorly it has got a palatal musculature, oxidator, superior constrictor. Posteriorly it has got a carotid sheath. Superiorly skull base, inferiorly hyoid bone. Medially pharyngeal constrictor muscle, laterally medial pterygoid muscle. So lateral pharyngeal space is analogous with an inverted cone lying on the lateral aspect of the neck. Submandibular space, which you commonly come across. So the boundaries are anterior belly of digastric muscle, posterior belly of digastric, styloid and stylopharyngeus muscle. Superiorly, it has got inferior and medial aspects of mandible. Inferiorly, it has got digastric tendon. Superficially, platysmal muscle and investing fascia. Deep, it has got mylohyoid, hypoglossal, superior constrictor muscle. So this is a picture that shows the spread of submandibular space infection from the mandibular molar. Usually the submandibular space infection commonly occurs in the teeth in relation to the second molar and third molar. So you can clearly see a red color marking that shows an infection that descends from the periapical region of the tooth, perforates the lingual cortex and enters into the submandibular space. So above the red submandibular infection, you can see the mylohyoid is from the floor of the mouth. The other space is the sublingual space, which has got anteriorly lingual surface of mandible, posteriorly submandibular space, superiorly oral mucosa, inferior mylohyoid muscle, mesial by the muscles of the tongue, and laterally by lingual surface of the mandible. So the right side represents the various spaces like sublingual, submaxillary, masticatory, parapharyngeal and parotid space. Submental space, it has got anteriorly inferior border of mandible, posteriorly by hyoid bone, superiorly by mylohyoid muscles, inferiorly by investing fascia, superiorly by the investing fascia, laterally by antibelly of digastric muscle. The next primary space is the canine space. The canine space is one of the primary space of the maxilla. So it has got superiorly by the labius superioris, inferiorly by auricularis oris, superficially by quadratus labii superioris, deep by levator anguli oris, medially by levator labii acculinisi, laterally by zygomaticus major, angular artery, vein and infraorbital. So this shows that pictures represent the canine space. On the left side you can see that there is an obliteration of the nasolabial fold, which is a classical sign of a canine space infection. The next one is the buccal space. So anteriorly it is by the corner of the mouth, posteriorly by the masseter muscle and pterygomandibular space, superiorly maxilla and infraorbital space, inferiorly by the mandible, superficially by the subcutaneous tissue and skin, deep by the buccal muscle. This is a list of pathways of spread of buccal space. The pterygomandibular space, anteriorly by buccal space, posteriorly by parotid gland, superiorly by lateral pterygoid muscle, inferiorly by inferior border mandible, medially by medial pterygoid muscle, laterally by ascending ramus of the mandible. The submasseteric base, which is got anteriorly by the buccal space, posteriorly by the parotid gland, superiorly by the zygomatic arch, inferiorly by the inferior border of mandible, medially by the ascending ramus of the mandible, and laterally by the masseter muscle. So this is a pathway of spread of the masseteric space infection. Infratemporal space, laterally by the ramus of the mandible and temporalis and its tendon, medially by the pterygoid plate and pterygoid muscles, superiorly by the infratemporal surface of zygomatic arch, inferiorly by lateral pterygoid muscle. Temporal space, superficial compartment, laterally by the temporal fascia, medially by lateral surface of temporalis muscle, deep compartment by the lateral surface of the temporalis muscle, and medially by the temporal bone. So the spaces involved in the entire length of the neck will be retropharyngeal space lies behind the esophagus and pharynx, anterior by the superior middle pharyngeal constrictor muscle, posterior by the ala fascia, superiorly by the skull base, inferiorly by the upper mediastinum, and laterally by the carotid sheath and lateral pharyngeal space. So the danger space which communicates to the mediastinum, it is got anteriorly by the retropharyngeal space, posteriorly by the prevertebral space, superiorly by the skull base, inferiorly by the diaphragm, laterally by the fusion of alar and prevertebral fascia, transverse of cervical and thoracic vertebra. This represents the pathway of spread of periapical abscess into the vestibular surface. So you can see an infection from the molar region which perforates the buccal cortex and then exhibits on the vestibular soft tissue. So you can see the red band represents the pus which goes from the periapical region, perforates the cortex, and then shows as a swelling in the vestibule. So you can see clearly the obliteration of the vestibule on the pictures. These are the list of deep spaces associated with the mandibular odontogenic infections. So sublingual, submandibular, submental, mastigator, which is subdivided into submesenteric, pterygomandibular space, and superficial and deep subtemporal space. Spaces associated with the mandibular infection will be party space, lateral pharyngeal space, retropharyngeal space, pretracheal space, vestibular space, danger space, carotid sheath, and mediastinum. Spaces associated with the maxillary infection will be palatal space, infraorbital space, parietal space, and orbital space. These are some of the pictures how it represents typically, and this is how the spread of infraorbital space is from the maxillary tooth. Area of spread through the palatal. So what is Ludwig's angina? It's a firm, acute, diffuse, toxic cellulitis of submandibular and sublingual spaces bilaterally under the submental space. It was discovered by Wilhelm Friedrich von Ludwig. So the etiology is dental, primary dental infection, post-extraction phenomena, submandibular gans hyalinidinitis, compound mandibular fractures, oral soft tissue laceration, puncture wound of the floor of the mouth, and secondary infections of oral malignancies. Clinical features: bilateral infection of sublingual and submandibular spaces and also the submental space with brawny edema, elevation of tongue and glottic edema, airway obstruction, paucity of pus, spread of sepsis to involve the mesenteric and pharyngeal spaces. The management will be maintenance of airway, incision and drainage. So you can see the involvement of submandibular and sublingual spaces. This is how the spread of infection is. So the treatment for Ludwig's angina is the patient is intubated. You can see a nasotracheal intubation is being done, and then you can see below the chin the submental region is drained and submandibular region is drained, and a corrugated drain is placed for the infection to drain. So another infection which commonly is seen after space infection will be necrotizing fasciitis. A rapidly spreading infection causes necrosis of the tissues and subcutaneous space by thrombosis of vessel that supply the superficial muscles and skin, may also affect the deep facial spaces, resulting in aggressive spread through the space to deeper structures and in descending necrotizing mediated stenosis. So these are the pictures that shows the necrotic fasciitis. So next we are going to see how the pathway of spread of infection from the teeth are going to be. So if we look at the left picture, you can see a tooth from where the infection can go to buccal or it can go to the palatal in case of maxilla teeth. In case of the mandibular teeth, it can go to sublingual, it can go to buccal again, it can go to vestibular, or it can go to submandibular. So that it is an axial view and that is a sagittal view of the infection spreading from the molar teeth. So common progression pattern of facial space infection in the head and neck region is going to be the infection goes from the tooth, it goes to the masticatory phase, lateral pharyngeal space, retropharyngeal space, danger space, mediastinitis, submandibular space, submental space, contralateral submandibular space, sublingual space, Ludwig's angina, and then airway obstruction. If there is going to be an infection, canine infection, infraorbital space, angular vein, cavernous sinus thrombosis. So other causes for infection will be from salivary gland infection, trauma, upper respiratory tract infection, presence of foreign body, instrumentation, spread of localized or superficial infection. How do you come to a diagnosis? Look for the symptoms. Is that if it's going to be dental, there can be a toothache or a post extraction, or there is going to be pain, fever, swelling, dysphagia, trismus, or respiratory difficulties. Examine the swelling, check for the elevated temperature, look for dehydration symptoms, dental abnormalities, oropharyngeal abnormalities, laryngeal abnormalities, and trismus. Examine the quality and consistency, soft to flexion to hard, color and temperature determine the presence of external infection, distortion of buccal fold, soft palate, symmetric where uvula there is a midline shift. If there is going to be an involvement of lateral pharyngeal space, which is a clinical sign, nasal tip, nasolabial fold, and circumorbital areas will be swollen. Identify causative factor like tooth or root tip or foreign body, etc. Vital signs should be taken. Temperature more than 101 to 102, accompanied by elevated heart rate, indicates systemic involvement of infection and increased urgency of treatment. The lateral and anteroposterior radiographic investigation has been done. Any foreign body, tracheal deviation, subcutaneous air, fluid in the soft tissue. Look for some pulmonary edema, pneumothorax, mediastinum, or hilar adenopathy. These are the computer tomography. Management, which is very important. How do you manage? Maintain with an adequate airway with humidified oxygen, artificial airway like with endotracheal intubation or tracheostomy or trachotherapy, controlling the infection and preventing complications by hospitalizing blood and pus cultures and fluid resuscitation. Antibiotic therapy, oral infection are typically polymicrobial, so antibiotic effectiveness depends upon adequate tissue concentration for the appropriate amount of time. Antibiotics should be prescribed for at least 1 week. Adequate tissue concentration achieved in 24 to 48 hours, with bactericidal activity occurring over the next 3 to 5 days. Antibiotic therapy, penicillin, drug of choice for treatment of odontogenic infection. Clindamycin, first line after penicillin. Effective against anaerobes, stop taking at first sign of diarrhea. Cephalosporin, slightly broader spectrum and bactericidal. Cautious use in penicillin allergic patients. Cross sensitivity, if history of anaphylaxis to penicillin, do not use. Erythromycin, good second line of drug after penicillin. Use entry coated to reduce GI upset. Metronidazole, excellent against anaerobes only. Augmentin kills penicillin producing bacteria and then interferes with amoxicillin and expensive. Surgical drainage, it is indicated if conditions do not improve after 48 hours of therapy with the parenteral antibiotics. Primary space involved as well as additional space involved to which the abscess has spread or opened and drained. Hilton without drainage of incision has been done. So this represent A, B, C. A is for the temporal space, B is for the submandibular and C for the submental. Canine sublingual and vestibular spaces are drained intraorally. Mesenteric, pterygomandibular and lateral pharyngeal spaces can be drained with combination intraoral and extraoral drain. Temporal, submandibular, submental, retropharyngeal and buccal spaces may mandate extraoral incision and drainage. Complications. Infectious complication can be carotid artery erosions and hemorrhage, intrajugular thrombosis, cavernous thrombosis, neurological deficit, osteomyelitis of mandible and spine, mediastinitis, pulmonary edema, aspiration due to spontaneous rupture. So this is the picture which shows that the infection is so severe. You can see a white tracheostomy is done. The tube that comes out through the nose is a Ryle's tube, which feeding is done because patient is not able to open the mouth. So it is a combination of a canine space, mesenteric space, thank you.